Very warm welcome to today's webinar on the future of testing. My name is Maria. I'm the digital marketing manager at Certify Assessment Solutions. And it's truly a pleasure to be with you today as your host. I'm joined by the insightful Betty Chipadza from the Customer Experience Department at Omnicontact, who will be co-hosting today's conversation. Betty, it's great to have you with us. Whether you are joining us from the world of education, workforce development, technology, or policy, your presence and participation are truly valued. Betty, you can unmute your microphone.
Thank you very much, Maria, and absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for welcoming me here, and you're welcome as well. So we may get right into it.
Let's take a quick call at our agenda today. We will begin by setting the stage with a look at the future of testing, exploring the trends, innovations, and challenges that are shaping how we think about assessments in today's changing world. Then we will hear insights from Omnicontact and Certify speakers, where we will learn how they're adapting and influencing the future of testing with their tools. So without further delay, let's get started by setting the stage for the future of testing. Assessment has always been central to education and professional development. But in recent years, the pace of change has been nothing short of remarkable. And we're thrilled to have you with us as we explore one of the most exciting and at the same time challenging frontiers in education and professional development. How artificial intelligence is transforming the way assessments are designed, delivered, and experienced. Now, if you think about it, assessment touch all of us at some point, from the first classroom quiz to professional certification exams. Assessments are the gateways to opportunities. And like so many areas of life, they're being reimagined by AI. And today, we will look at how AI is making it faster, fairer, more scalable, and at the same time, how it raises important questions around trust, equity, and integrity. Nowadays, we have moved from paper-based exams to online testing, and now into a world where artificial intelligence is reshaping nearly every aspect of assessment, from how students prepare to how questions are generated, to how exams are delivered and scored. And AI is making it possible to personalize assessments, to generate new content quickly, to offer instant feedback, and even to design evaluation that they're more accessible to students with different learning needs, for example, right? Even adaptive testing platforms can now adjust the difficulty of questions in real time, ensuring that each learner is challenged appropriately. And Betty, I saw you unmute your microphone. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Maria, and absolutely, this has been a comprehensive and concise brief of what we're going to be talking about today. So yes, I'm appreciating all the good that is coming with AI and all the advancement that we have, experienced so far. It's very important that we also acknowledge that alongside these opportunities, there are also important questions that are coming up around trust, around fairness and bias. So to most of us here, one of the most important questions that we would like to put across is, how do we ensure that AI doesn't reinforce already existing inequalities? or disadvantage certain groups of learners. So it's then important that we also put into view how human oversight also remains critical even as AI expands its role. So already through recent research that has been going on in line with AI becoming a central part of education assessment, you'd find that in most of the first world countries, over 90% of university students report using AI tools, for example, ChatGPT, to support their assessments and their studies. But then this also circles back then to address issues that are happening on the other side, the third world, where the digital disparities are so huge and the gap is yet to be closed or to be lessened. So as we go into the discussion, as we get further into talking about this, it will then be imperative so that for us to just bring out how AI is going to be supported so that it doesn't, expand the already existing inequalities. And those would be my thoughts for now on that, Maria.
Thank you, Betty. And that's such an important point. And it's not only happening, we can say, in higher education. Around the world, we're seeing major developments. For example, in California, AI was even used to draft some bar exam questions, which sparked a debate over fairness and professional standards. Meanwhile, in India, private schools are already deploying AI to evaluate students as young as 10 years old, detecting critical thinking skills. They're identifying learning gaps and reducing teacher bias. And after this webinar, we will share our presentation, and you can read this article. It was published Times of India in 2024. And this example showed that AI is not just a theoretical concept anymore. They're real, they're happening now, and they're influencing policies, classroom decisions, and major exam systems on a global scale.
Exactly, Maria. And thank you for bringing out the issue on policy and how, all those things that are happening are influencing the development of policy. Because as we go into, infusing the structures within our traditional systems, it will be very important for us to be cognizant of the fact that certain changes need to be, implemented to align with the development that's coming up. And as we also consider this global perspective, we also have to really think about accessibility. Like I mentioned earlier, issues of accessibility are quite critical for us to be, able to get equity and to get everyone on board. So it's also important to note that not every learner has reliable internet or a personal device or the digital literacy to navigate AI powered assessments. And so this also raises, issues around equity and inclusion, which are very, important parts of policy development and policy making. So as we design the next generation testing systems, it will be very important to be considerate of these factors. And just in line with that, there's another fascinating trend that is also coming up as we, adopt AI within the education environment. This is the hybrid model of assessment, and I tell you, it's very exciting. So, this then entails combining AI driven analytics with professional human practice. So, early research is already suggesting that this model can maintain exam integrity while also providing personalized insights. And this is really wonderful. This creates a balance between automation and human judgment. So you can come in, Maria, and just take us further with this.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Betty. And so the key question nowadays isn't whether AI will change assessments. As we see, it clearly already has. And the real question is, how do we implement it in a responsible and ethical way? How do we maintain trust, fairness, and transparency? How do we make sure learners are supported rather than stressed by technology, right? And how do service providers balance innovation with practicality, especially in markets where adoption is uneven? Please, Betty, over to you, introduce our speakers and we can go ahead.
Well, thank you for also bringing the questions that you just brought up right now. So I'm sure this, just not in my mind, but in a lot of other people's minds here present, these are the questions that this discussion should be aiming to address. So for us to get, expert insights and more detail into this, today we're joined by Joseph Guava. Joseph is a business development executive at Omnicontact, and he's going to speak more on how physical test centers are adapting to AI-driven exams. And then we also have Claudia Nashe from Certify Assessment Solutions, and she is the customer success manager from Certify Assessment Solutions. So Claudia is going to dwell more on insights into online security, accessibility, and digital record keeping. So we will be exploring their expert perspectives on the human to AI collaboration, assessment integrity, and the practical realities of deploying AI solutions in diverse contexts.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Betty. And just before we dive into our speakers' insights, a quick reminder to everyone that we would like to hear from you. Please drop your questions and drop your questions in the chat. We would like to answer in the end of our Q&A session. So with both of our guests, where we'll respond directly to your comments and questions.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to get started and get right into it. So just to kick us off, Joseph and Maria, I just want to understand from your perspectives, your expertise and experience, when we talk about the future of testing, what does this phrase mean to you personally and professionally? And how do you see AI reshaping the assessment landscape in the next 3 to 5 years? So maybe we'll just have Joseph pick it up first and then we'll move on to Claudia. Okay, so while Joseph is preparing for that, maybe Claudia can come through.
Thanks, Betty. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Probably you're busy with other stuff, but we appreciate you taking the time to join the webinar. Humble opinion, because we are at the beginning of AI in education from what I see from, BET reports or any white papers. So it's, for me, it's quite humble. It's beginnings with AI, but it reminds me of the introduction of mobile phones in the society, where we just had no idea back then that they will become so used, like everyday use by now. So I think I feel quite similar. I was young then and I didn't know what to expect. How would they impact life and so on? But I'm older now and I think I can understand better that AI or artificial intelligence, which ultimately is intelligence created by humans. So it's a sister intelligence of the first class intelligence, if you want, of humans. I think it will be there quite rapidly, if I can say so. I see it really used in everything, not only assessments. But in regards to assessments, I've been reading recent reports, and we are a member of the Cambridge assessment team, and we get updates on where AI stands, and it seems like it's a huge thing that will impact education. Is a call on assessment practitioners to come forward and make a change in the education system, I suppose, to make it more inclusive, to make it more widespread, scalable, and so on. So yes, I think it's here to stay, and I think it's a very current subject that we all are trying to actually understand on how it will contribute to the assessments.
Thank you so much for that, Maria. So, from what you said, I just picked that AI is here to stay. It's on your reality, and probably we may have to stop talking about it as the future. So, just to pick your mind as well, Joseph, on on this perspective that Maria shared and the question that I also brought out earlier. What do you think? What does AI mean to you professionally and personally? And in your view, 3 to 4 years to 5 years later from now, where we will be with
Thank you, Betty, for that question. I think like what Claudia says, AI is here to stay, and it's not here to replace us, but it's also here to support us in our duties and tasks. So AI is when it comes to the educational space, is reshaping the assessments by making them adaptive, continuous, and skills based. So instead of one size fit for all examinations, learners now experience assessments that adjust to their knowledge level and test real world application. So not just memory, but it also then creates fair outcomes and reduces bias. So for learners, it means instant feedback, personalized learning pathways, and also certifications that act as global skills passports. So for institutions, it unlocks the cost efficiencies, it creates scale, and powerful data insights to improve teaching and workforce readiness. So that's how I see AI and how it fits within the educational space, specifically speaking to assessments as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia and Joseph. Betty, I think your microphone's yes.
Oh,
Now we can hear.
my apologies for that. So I was just saying those are quite, insightful comments coming from, subject matter experts. So just maybe to follow through what you have said, Joseph, I just want to understand as well, seeing that EduTech is rapidly evolving with AI tools, reshaping how students learn, get certified, and access opportunities. Just from your perspective, what does this mean within the African context? What does this mean for the future of, the African testing and assessment context?
Thank you, Betty. So inclusion of AI within the edutech space is not new. I think to other developed nations, these are processes that they started probably 10 years back. And in Africa, I'm quite happy that although there is a bit of slow adoption when it comes to digitalization, uh, I'm happy that organizations are also beginning to take AI in education more seriously, and also beginning to research and take steps for them to include AI in their assessments. So mainly the challenge within the African institutions is just the slow adoption to digitalization, which is also limiting them to the opportunity to harness the full potential of AI in edutech. But what we have to do is to improve our adoption speed by learning more about AI in edutech and probably open up to the opportunity of the AI systems that are both ambitious and also practical. So this means that creating assessments that can work in a high-tech environment, but also adopt to areas with limited internet and resources. So to build trust, providers might also be transparent about how AI makes decisions and allow human oversight when also needed. Um, in addition to also partner with local institutions to ensure credibility. So I'm quite sure there is a lot of awareness that also has to be, we need to speed up our awareness within institutions when it comes to adoption of AI in education. So that's the first step, adoption, and also, speed up the process. I'm happy with the developments that are taking place in institutions such as in South Africa that are also beginning to tap into the AI in education, creating room for development for them to move from traditional examinations to AI-driven assessments that lessens the burdens on human examiners, but just also then come in to support. So I think that's how I view where the future is going, and how institutions should also quickly infuse AI within their systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. That's absolutely fascinating. It really shows how assessments are shifting, and they're not just about testing what someone knows anymore, but also how they think, how they apply knowledge, and how they solve problems in real-world contexts. And many institutions are beginning to explore AI in assessment, as we know nowadays. But can you tell me more and share information in regions like Africa, right, where tech adoption is more variable? Maybe you can tell us, how do providers like Omnicontact balance cutting-edge innovation with the need to build trust and meet learners where they are?
Okay, thank you, Maria, for that question. I think, like what I have also highlighted, that in Africa, the main challenge to certification is not talent, but unequal access to infrastructure. So this is where Omnicontact plays a crucial role by providing reliable test centers that connect learners to global opportunities. So as Omnicontact removes the burden on infrastructure from institutions and candidates, it ensures that certification is based on ability, not access to resources. This levels the playing field, so learners from undeserved communities have the same global opportunities as those in more connected environments.
Thank you so much for that, Joseph. Well appreciated. So I just like how you then spoke about, the infrastructural availability that OmniContact is already, providing for institutions and the likes. So this then also furthers this conversation into the line of thought where we say technology alone will not answer, the call to infusing AI into the future. But it's also important that we also have trust and accessibility, because this will then award equal opportunity for all. And being grounded in the reality that we may not be all at the same level of access, it is then important that whatever innovation that is going to be brought forth must also be able then to level the playing field for all. So turning to certify assessment solutions, and well, then to also get maybe further insights from Claudia. I just want to know, Claudia, from your perspective, what does the ideal human to AI collaboration look like within the educational assessment environment? And can educators also trust AI to be a partner rather than a replacement?
Thank you, Betty. Yes, I think they can trust AI as long as they get the opportunity to test it, as long as they get the opportunity to have a say in the development of AI models. The relationship we see at Certify between technology or AI and human contribution to the assessment is a collaborative approach where, AI does the tasks that humans can probably overdo. Let's say a repetitive task can easily be done, can easily be automated. But if you have a task where interpretation skills or sensitive skills are required, you definitely need the human source. So it's very much a collaboration between these two parties. And at Certify, we actually apply that by, building our product roadmap for example, with our clients' requests in mind or with their feedback. It's very important because obviously trust is something that you gain in time. So an approach of trial and test, have them see the platform, have them see the solution, have them try it, and give them the space and time to understand how it works and if it fits their process and the exam flow. I think it's an approach that builds that trust that comes with time. So yes, from our perspective here at Certify, it's very much a collaborative approach. We would never give the last decision to an AI customization. It will always be down to the exam owner, exam manager, to have the final say on the assessment, marking, because I think that's the bigger point where it comes into question, because it has a certain value. That mark, that certification has a certain value. So yes, very much a collaboration, and the fact that we get the input of our clients and partners, their feedback, and we build our products to meet those expectations. I think it really does help to see AI in the positive light that it is actually trying to bring into the industry.
Thank you, Claudia. And I love that framing, AI as a partner. It's not here to replace, but to enable and support us. And when it's thoughtfully implemented, it can reduce a teacher workload, offer useful data insights, and help educators tailor their approach to each student. Claudia, from your role at Certify Assessment Solution, you know that test security and question bank management are crucial. So compared to traditional and manual question banks for paper-based exams, how does AI help create and manage secure online assessment content? Maybe you can share more information regarding this.
Yes, it's so exciting, isn't it, when we're trying something new? Like, we're actually buzzed by the idea of clicking a button and having an action done. So compared to paper, where you sit down and write everything and you need to store that in a structured way so that you can access it easily later, the benefit of digital assessments is that you have everything in one place. You can access it easily, very quickly, huge amounts of information. There is no worry regarding space, because space in this context is virtual, literally. And I think it gathers a lot of the aspects of assessment management that you can do much easier and quicker. So always thinking of these aspects when, creating the solutions. Like, for example, what can assessment practitioners see on our solutions when they create their content? It's very important to remain flexible. It's very important to give them the opportunity to choose and pick. So yes, customization is something that we always keep in mind, and the control is always with the user, and the access level and the security. I find it's much easier achievable these days with digital means compared to paper. We have, when you create your questions on our assessment platform, you have a version control of the question or of the question paper. You can see who accessed it when and how, and what modifications have been done, and so on, which I think with the paper-based process would be difficult to track. So yes, it does give us the trackable responsibility, if you want, or accountability that is very important, because we're dealing with quite sensitive data. So it's more centralized, I suppose, in one sentence for us. It's more centralized, it's more manageable, it's more secure.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Claudia. And it's very interesting to learn that, issues around data protection, data management, and, data security are also considered, because those are other issues that come up, as we get to ride the advent of AI. It also becomes important to know what happens to the data, especially in the testing area or testing space. Issues around integrity, exam integrity are also important. And I really like the fact that this whole, online banking system is also addressing that. So I also want to move on now to Joseph, just to understand as well how you see the hybrid approach as we, get to go with the rise of AI. So where AI supports plus professional practice are becoming the global standard for exam security and fairness. For that part, what do you really think about that? Because it really is becoming the standard. And how do you see that approach?
Thank you, Betty, for that question. I think I share the same sentiments as what Claudia just also highlighted. She has also nailed it right straight into the head. Um, So exams today are moving towards a hybrid model. We're using both AI, probably at 80%, and trained human support, which is probably the examiner. So AI is excellent at spotting unusual behaviors, also tracking patterns and scaling exam monitoring. So by doing so, it also lacks empathy. So, for example, if a student in Zimbabwe loses internet during a test, AI may simply flag it as a suspicious activity. But a human proctor, however, can understand the situation and make it fair. So AI is just there to also then support and to work hand in hand with the examiner, which is probably the proctor. So the best path of moving forward is AI augmented proctoring. Let AI handle most of the monitoring while humans step in only when judgment and context is required. This approach keeps exams secure, fair, respectful, and helps the students to trust the system.
Thank you so much for that response, Joseph. So I'm just going to take us further, into that line of thought. And I'd first begin by agreeing that, hybrid models are really emerging as the sweet spot, where we have a combination of the speed and insight of AI coming together with the ethical oversight and human judgment that exams require. So just taking it a bit further, Joseph, in regions where not every candidate has access to stable internet or advanced devices, how can test centers like Omnicontact ensure equal access to certification opportunities? I just had to bring this a little bit closer to home.
Thank you, Betty. So what I can say is there are a number of um, opportunities that Omnicontact is positioned to do, and at the center of it is partnership. By working with global technology providers as Certify assessments, Omnicontact uh, becomes the hub for Southern Africa in when it comes to certification, which is also bringing international uh, credibility closer to home. We have partners that we have in place, mostly our institutions, both in the urban and remote areas, allowing them to have full access to the assessment technology. So I'll just start with the assessment technology, while at least I'm also moving to issues to do with infrastructure. So by also ensuring that there is full access to that to assessment technology, and also adding to the existing infrastructures that those institutions have in place. This also then creates the opportunity of students to access online examinations through those channels and through those systems. So even if it's local institution that is located in a urban in a remote area. We are there to also then come in, support with the softwares that are needed. And when it comes to the internet, Omnicontact also then comes in to make sure that the software is also in alignment with the internet that is currently in that certain place. So we first by measuring and understanding what bandwidth works around that area, and also how can we then adjust that bandwidth accordingly with the software. So this makes it more easier for students in those remote areas to also be part of the that digitalization process, moving in from digitalization from paper-based exams to online-based exams. Then there's also innovation sandbox where centers can also serve as pilot labs, which is something that we are doing, testing how AI-driven assessments work in low infrastructure environments and sharing lessons with the global partners on the feedback that we are getting. Then there's also issues to do with social impact, where each test center is more than a building. It is a gateway to opportunity, ensuring that a student in Africa has the same chance to us to succeed as the one in New York or London. So that's the setup that we have put in place at Omnicontact.
Thank you. Thank you again, Joseph. You have highlighted such an important point, and it's encouraging to hear infrastructure and how these creative solutions can bridge that digital divide. Ensuring fair access is essential if we want AI-powered assessment to truly scale globally. And finally, how can a service provider such as Omnicontact, Certify assessment solutions, with its established physical structure, bridge the gap between today's reality and tomorrow's AI-driven possibilities? Maybe you can share some advice, some information you have gathered from your experience.
Okay, thank you, Maria. So how Omnicontact and Certify work together is to ensure that there is easy access to the platform. So we have created an ecosystem that has that is more of like giving awareness to local institutions on the platform, how it works, and how it can be of an advantage to them. And we have also then gone a step further by ensuring that these institutions also have fair access by probably going through a pilot phase where they have a feel and understanding of the product before they start adopting the technology. So these are some of the developments that we have put in place, and which is also including universities and smaller to larger institutions that are not also found in urban areas that are also beginning to embark on that journey of digitalization or thinking of actually doing it from paper-based examinations to um, online-based examinations. So what we are doing is we are working hand in hand with these institutions, and we are working them through the platform with the support from the team at Certify, which also comes in to give us most of the technical issues and answers that are needed within that probably institutions might need to also then understand.
Very insightful, Joseph. Thank you very much. So for me, these are quite interesting times, witnessing how Omnicontact and Certified Assessment Solutions are coming together, to marry and bridge, the gap that is existing between today's realities and tomorrow's AI-driven possibilities. So this just then shows how traditional infrastructure and new AI technologies can complement each other. They can work together in driving, the future that we all are pursuing, and the future that is, very beautiful for everyone. So leveraging what already works while embracing innovation for the future, for me, that is quite a beautiful piece of work that we are doing together. So I also love the fact that AI is really streamlining what used to be time consuming or error prone to making it easier, and also to optimize on productivity and time consciousness, making large scale assessments far more efficient and very secure. So shifting back to you, Claudia, now, how do how do digital AI driven systems improve record keeping, and what additional data can they provide compared with paper based approaches?
Thanks, Betty. It links into my previous answer, that moving from paper to digital means a more structured way of dealing with the assessment process, a more controlled access as well, which improves the security. And then we definitely have the element of space, which is not a concern in this case. Data retention, how we handle it at Certify, we know the client is always in control for us. So for example, in our onboarding process, we ask them about their data retention policy, and we implement that accordingly. Because it's important to, the client decides for how long does the data need to be there, and they can control it at any time. It's a way to keep an eye on your data and to have somebody responsible if anything happens. It's so much easier than in the paper-based process. What other information can digital assessments provide compared to paper? I think one of the needed information for digital assessments is psychometric analysis, which I think, or as far as I'm aware, it's quite hard to produce on paper. So if we have, reports that get out the data to the assessment practitioners, they need to do the psychometric analysis. I think that brings in quite a value in the process, and that's something that we made available within the reports at Certify as well.
Thank you, Claudia, and I agree with you. And this is exactly and beyond just storing records, right? AI enables analytics over time, helping institutions identifying trends, track student progress, and even improve future assessments. And this is such a valuable point. Technology can reduce exam-related stress if it's designed well, and adaptive testing, real-time feedback, even intuitive interfaces. It's all very helpful, and but at the same time, it reminds us that user experience is key. So one final question from my side to you, Claudia. In your view, how can AI assessments maintain academic integrity while still respecting learner privacy and autonomy?
Thanks, Maria. I think, again, focusing as a provider of technology for assessments, focusing on the client process and the client need is needed here to implement, like to make the solution work for them rather than building something from our own vision or perspective. So what we do here as well with Certify, we have everything flexible and customizable. Like the AI features, they will never be set up by default on an exam. You can switch them on and off. You can show them to the proctors or not. Then the session types that we have available either is record and review or live proctoring, you have the possibility to choose the recording type of that session. Like, what is it recording? Is it making a full video of the session? Is it recording just the AI flags? So yes, for us, it's again, keeping the client in control and being flexible and talking to the client about their flows, about their policies on using AI and respecting those. You see, I'm talking always from the customer experience perspective because I'm a customer experience manager. So you will hear my opinion from this perspective always. And obviously at Certify, we are very proud of the values that we have regarding customer care.
Thank you very much for that. And we're in this together in as far as customer experience is concerned. So this is quite a perfect way to wrap it up. And it shows that responsible AI isn't just about performance. It's also about ethics, it's about privacy and fairness. Striking that balance is very key to widespread adoption and trust. Thank you very much for that, Maria.
Thank you both, Joseph and Claudia, for your insights. It's clear that AI is not just a technological shift, but a cultural and educational one. And the challenge ahead is to design assessment that combine the strength of AI with fairness and trust that learners, institutions, universities, and employers demand, right? And thank you all of our participants today that you join our webinar, and we definitely will share the webinar recording, our presentation, and a quick word about Certify assessment solution. We're building innovating tools that make digital assessments and scalable certification more effective and reliable for organizations everywhere. And Betty, maybe you have something to say from your side?
Well, yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. So just to drop this off, Omnicontact is just your test center. It is a state-of-the-art accredited facility that provides candidates with a secure, professional environment to sit for globally recognized examinations. You'd also be interested to know that we do have modern infrastructure, high-speed connectivity, and proctored integrity, ensuring that every assessment experience is seamless. And just in case you want to reach out to us, you can on our website www.omnicontact.biz and your Omnicontact International across our social media handles. Sure, you can go ahead, Maria.
Yes. And we hope that today's discussion has given you a new perspective on what the future of testing might look like. And here, let me just check our chat. I think we have one question. So we can definitely ask our speakers what they think about it. In relation of psychometric-based assessments, how can we avoid breaches by third parties to avoid leakages of information prior to the test, and also avoid sensitive data from being taken advantage of? Claudia and Joseph, maybe you can answer. So here is a question from Edward.
I think obviously it plays into the security, and this is what I like about digital assessments, that it has a bigger accountability trace than the paper-based assessments. Even if something goes wrong, you have the team there that you can hold accountable in terms of their processes, their security measures, which is very hard to achieve on a paper-based solution, I assume. So yes, access levels needs to be in place, regular checks done in the system, like in the background, to make sure that no leakage is happening. So obviously providers that step up and say, we are ready to give you the solution to work with, they will be prepared to address this sort of security issues like the ISO certifications that we're currently looking to complete by the end of this year. Addresses, I suppose, this one of these concerns, but it's a very fair concern that as a provider we take great care of. But I think it helps the process in the digital world that you have the responsibility there as a team, as a provider, and the client can always go and have somebody accountable for.
Thank you, Claudia. And we're still people are joining, so we definitely thank you all of us again. Thank you for staying until in the end of our webinar, and we definitely share this recording. We will share the presentation slides. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope today's discussion has given you a new perspective on what the future of testing might look like. And thank you for joining us. Special thanks to our speakers from Omnicontact and Certify, Joseph and Claudia. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks, Betty. Thanks,
Bye.
Maria. Bye.